Well, I couldn't be happier that you've decided to drop by for a little visit today here at the channel, because we're just a couple of weeks removed from my 3-year anniversary here on YouTube, and we're about to embark on episode 500. Now, whenever one of these kind of milestone episodes come, I try to do something either special or different, or something at least to kind of denote it, though that's getting harder as time goes on. Nevertheless, today we're going to do something a little bit different. Hope, we'll see. And this is kind of reviewing the reviewer, or at least the process of reviewing, along with a couple of potential problems and a couple of outtakes maybe along the way. I don't know. I'm not even sure how this is going to work out, but we're about to find out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one and all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and me everywhere. And like I said, I'm so happy that you're here. This is episode 500, and there's some things kind of on the horizon that I'm really looking forward to. Not the least of which is, and I feel like I need to address this before we get into everything here. I've had ever so many people say, hey, GotBot, why haven't you yet talked about the reveals that have been leaked, or what happened at Wonderfest, or what happened at Toy Fair? It's coming up, man. It's coming up. In fact, it's probably going to be what we'll do next time. Next time. Not this time. This time we're going to kind of review the process of reviewing, at least for me, and everybody has their own way of doing doing this and addressing this, and it's always kind of a process of evolution. And as I sort of talk about this, I'm going to throw in some sort of, I'm going to call them outtakes. I don't really think there's so much outtakes always as like examples of what I'm talking about from like videos over the last 3 years, things that you've seen edited here on the channel, but you haven't seen unedited. And the very first thing to note is when it comes to doing reviews, at least for me, I try not only to be very honest about what I like and dislike, what I think is good and bad, and whether or not I think it's worth your hard-earned dollar, but I kind of have a certain way, of course, of doing it. And typically I try, for the most part, to have you guys experience a figure pretty much as I experience them. I have probably taken them out. I have probably converted them maybe once or twice. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes you're getting me on first conversion and first experience. And sometimes that works out well, and sometimes for many reasons that doesn't work out well. Nevertheless, once I kind of start things, I have an idea in my mind of I need to do an intro and outro, and I want to measure them based on their paint apps and detailing. Sometimes in that we tie in the quality of materials used, the articulation, their range of motion, how well can they move, and I've had times that I've been really disappointed by that, and the conversion, and sometimes that works out better than other times. Like there are times where I have a figure that I really like, but I know that trying to film it is going to be just brutal. Just absolutely brutal. And then of course sometimes life kind of gets in the way along the way. You have like phone calls and text messages and family walking in and everything else. So I, like everybody, have my own method of kind of covering these figures. And generally, I know what I want to say about them. I might not know how I'm going to say it. Some people script things right out. I don't tend to do that, man. I go on the fly. I go with whatever comes in my mind, which can be a blessing or a curse sometimes. And I used to be famous for really kind of rambling on a whole lot. Some might even argue that I'm still famous for that. But it used to be done to kind of cover up a weakness. Before I learned the fine art of editing, I was famous for droning on while I was doing a conversion. See, perhaps I wanted to compare a robot mode to a robot mode, but I didn't have the figure converted. And since I didn't know how to edit, I had to kind of fill that airspace with something. So I would kind of talk about my thoughts a little more in depth. And you could sometimes hear in the background me, doing a switch, and you'd hear little pieces moving, and you might have even wondered what the noise was. Quite often that was me converting a figure. But, thankfully, I hope I've improved since those early days. For example, tracks. Tracks right here, right now, is a perfect example of this. I'm just trying to take a second here to get tracks in his robot mode. And I think I have it done now. Other times, my babbling isn't to cover up a weakness, it's just because I go on a tangent. For example, when I looked at Stinger, the Studio Series Stinger, I almost went off on such a little tangent, but luckily caught myself. Needless to say, this little bit of self-banter, I suppose, got edited out in the final version. It's nice to have this because it's not a whole lot outside of the Stunticons and maybe the Combaticons. There aren't a pile of kind of car, vehicle, land-based vehicle Decepticons. Well, no, I guess there's more than that. There's not a lot of car Decepticons outside of the Stunticons. And maybe some Micromasters. Actually, there's probably more car Decepticons than I thought. So, what do I know? And then other times I have exactly the opposite problem where I get stuck for words and I don't have a clue what to say. And in those cases, you kind of got to be alright with silence until you find the right words. But you could put the bucklers up there as well. I think you can see the bucklers applied in the schematic of her instruction booklet, which I did show. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope so far you've been having a tremendous day because things are about to get a lot darker, But I think in terms of mainline just available everywhere, most would say that, the end of the line came with Abominus and I think most people would say that the end of the line came with Bruticus and Computron. The Abominus gravy train rolls on, ladies and gents. Why? Because this time we're going to look at the next member for that combiner. It is the Wave 2 Voyager class Hunger. And a bunch of custom paint apps that I did on him. And the Abominus gravy train rolls on with our second member, the leader of the team, Hunger. And a whole bunch of custom paint apps that I've done on the guy. We're going to focus on him and everything to do with him in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel yet again. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. Thanks for dropping by and having a visit with me today. Of course, I'm going to say like, comment, share, and naturally subscribe. Come on, you know that it's what the cool kids are doing, and the not so cool kids, and well... And the Abominus gravy train rolls on with the second member of that team. That being the leader of the group, the Transformers Power of the Primes Voyager class, Hunger. And I have done a lot of custom paint apps on this guy. He is fantastic for animate. And the Abominus gravy train rolls on with the Transformers Power of the Primes Wave 2 Hunger, the second member for that combining team and the leader of the group. who I've also added several custom paint apps to. You see, out of package, he is an excellent homage to the original classic G1 toy. But I like my little plastic robots to have animation accuracy, and that's why I ended up adding several apps to this guy, both in this mode and his combined mode. We're going to look at everything to do with this guy and the changes that I made to him in the latest GotBot True review. So last time was Arm Day, and today's going to be Arm Day again. No, I don't mean in terms of a workout, though we should probably all exercise. It's just, again, that's just good advice for life, man. My day has been kind of rough so far, but all of that is about to change. You see, I missed a appointment that I had to get my hair cut and hopefully do something to sort of try and fix this. And then the beautiful blue sky clouded over, and we now have a disgusting amount of humidity and a lot of rain coming. It's kind of going to be a storm night. But this little guy is about to make it all turn around for me. This, of course, is our continuation with the Abominus Combiner, and this is the most but all of that is about to turn around with this guy. This, of course, is another member of the Abominus Combiner. In fact, he's probably the most unscrupulous of the entire team. This is Decepticon Cutthroat, and he's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. And still other times, if I'm being honest about my own faults, and trust me, I have many of them, I know what I want to say, I don't even ramble on about it, but I just can't get the words out. And it results in a whole bunch of false starts. Man, do they drive me nuts. So is this what we're calling this a 2-for-1 review, or is it a 3-for-1 review? I'm not really sure. But do you know what's even worse than rambling on or being stuck for words or having a bunch of false starts that all serve to kind of throw off your rhythm? When you think you've done a great job and then you find out that your technology has not been working with you. No. And things have been out of focus. Be forewarned. What you're about to see were things that I ended up, in every case, having to go back and refilm because there was just no salvaging it. There, I think I said the word right that time. You'll notice that he's missing doors. That's not his major problem. See him on the other side? That brings out his face. And even though his doors are missing, that is Trax transformed. Now, honestly, even for a G1 toy, I have to give the transformation an overall score of 2 because it broke. Come on, focus. Is this piece focused?
What piece?
This here.
The circle part?
Well, just the arm section there. This staff thing, I guess, that you can actually open. Oh my God. Really? Focus. This staff thing, I guess, that you can open out. Awesome. Really, bye? And sometimes all of those things come together. What do you want? Nobody's perfect, I guess. The review that you are about to watch was filmed, and then the figure was returned to the owner. Upon editing, I discovered a few things that under normal circumstances I simply would have gone back and refilmed. But since I don't have access to the figure anymore, I can't exactly do that. So I'm having to take a different route, and I wanted to inform you of 3 things before we get going. Good evening, or morning, afternoon. I don't know when you're watching this. Good whatever time of day it is. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it now. There are things that you will see in this review that normally I would simply go back and refilm. But I no longer have access to the figure. It didn't belong to me, and it has since gone to its owner. So rather than leave a couple of things without explanation or without you thinking that I realized it, I figured I would kind of clear the air right now about a few things. So, number 1, there's a couple of times that the forearm pops off. I mentioned that I had transformed this guy a bunch of times with nothing popping off. And it really kind of bothered me, and I couldn't figure out why the forearm was doing it until after the fact, when I learned that the hinge was turned around backwards, or I had it put back on backwards. Either way, it meant that the kind of stability of the forearm was somewhat compromised and more susceptible to popping off. Advice and lesson learned would be that when you put either the cannon on that arm or the forearm on, make sure that the elbow hinge is facing the right direction. Number 2, all of my thoughts therein are the same as they always were. Nothing changes because I'm doing this little intro now. So I'll kind of leave those thoughts for when we look at the guy himself. Number 3, very often, for whatever strange reason, I kept talking about the hood popping off. The hood doesn't pop off, it never did. But you know what is susceptible to popping off? The roof. Now, I haven't experienced that. Believe it or not, I didn't experience it for this review either. But it's always tempting to. It's almost like it really wants to, because the friction hinge really probably should have been pinned. And finally, number 4. When I finally get him in vehicle mode, you will notice certain unsightly gaps, mostly between the windows on the side of the vehicle and the roof. That's really only because at the very end I forgot to kind of give one final squeeze, and you really do kind of want to do that to make sure everything is sitting nice and flush. It does sit flush. So when I get to vehicle mode, don't think to yourself, oh, that is pretty awful, he doesn't really fit together. He does. It's just that where I was doing the conversion at a distance on camera, I really should have given that one final squeeze. He does fit together nicely. You just have to be very specific with where everything goes. Anyway, keep those 4 things in mind. But even if you know exactly what you want to say, you have it all scripted out, it's a very pretty presentation, we all know that on camera, sometimes things just don't want to work and other distractions can get in the way, such as health issues. I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here, inside the videos. You see, bathroom issues. Pick that piece up and untab these arms. and interrupting family members. And finally, we get to move on, as I said, to something, at least to me, that's a little more interesting. That being the start of what I'm going to call the last... Oh, great. An email update. Okay. Take 2. Then we can put the shoulders back up into place. Just as if we were going to vehicle mode. Although this arm now seems to be locked in position. Which is not really what we want. Why is this arm locked in position? I gotta see this, so we're gonna have to go back there. What's done with his arms? Why are they?
Oh god, so good.
Hold on, I know I'm gonna have to do this again.
It's pretty much fine.
Is it?
It was fine before.
Okay. Fold down the front of the car to reveal the large robot head. Dum dum. Kendo.
Fuck, are you recording?
My bad.
Did you really have to swear then too?
Sorry, just beat me out.
I don't have a beep to beep you out.
Just go beep.
Once you flip down the chest, you reveal the big robot head. Dum dum dum. But it's all about perseverance and eye on the prize, and you can't control everything, because even if you can control everything about yourself, sometimes the toys have a mind of their own. Or sometimes we're just sloppy in how we handle them and forget steps of things like transformations, which we probably shouldn't do. You try to make it look easy on camera, but that's not to say that it always goes smoothly. In fact, more often than not, it takes a little bit of movie magic to make it look like it has gone smoothly. Flip around, and when they flip around, you want to position the arm correctly. But before we position the arm correctly, we're going to collapse the legs. Is that how we do it? Collapse the legs? No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. He's a little bit bigger than B, who I do not have now, but here he is next to... So there you have it. He's good. There's no doubt that he's good, and he is justified. But I'm not going to pretend that I'm not concerned about those ankles. Like, it comes off as easily as that. As easily as that. I'm just waiting for it to break, man. Just waiting for it. It's probably best if we begin by untabbing this section, and then we fold that up. And we do the same on the other side. We untab it, and we just have a little round tab here and a circle on the inside of this, and I just pulled that out of this section here. Luckily, it just fits back in, and we fold that up. No harm done. Great. Then we can, if I'm not mistaken, do we pick this up next, or do we... Just trying to remember here now. I feel like these come apart next. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe this piece comes out next. Okay, so now that we have the legs out here, we should be able to split the arms next. Although I'm having difficulty doing that. And I'm not really sure why. So how, in fact, do we do the transformation? Well, we begin by untabbing this and folding it back. There's a little round tab there, and there's a little hole in this section up here. Pretty simple, we do that on both sides. Fold those up. Then we split this piece and bring it up. And then Though the instructions say to just kind of open the arms, that's not exactly what you do. You have to lift the arms up. There's a couple of little tabs down here that go into holes in this purple piece. So you lift the arms up, and then you can swing them around. And now all we have to do is get his hands out. If I can remember how to get his hands out. Was I supposed to get his hands out this way first? Maybe. I don't really remember how to get this guy's hands out. And now that we have everything else done, getting the hands out should be a breeze. I just couldn't remember how to do it. We open up the bottom. We flip out the hand. We close the bottom back up. And then, boom, in the end, here we have Scavenger, who looks pretty good from the front. You know, personally, I would never ever do this. And I don't know if he... I just pulled his thumb off. I don't know if he ever did it, like, in the program. Luckily, his thumb just pops back on. Hey, good to know, if you pop the thumb off, it just pops back on. Oh, we want to get down to the inner robot. And we're going to begin to do that by sliding off a shoulder piece. Whoa, that really went. The friction here is quite tight, and it likes to pop off. It just does. So there you go, there's one shoulder off, and we, oh, see, I said that we'd see cog many more times, and like here's just another example of the interconnectivity possible with the siege line. Look, here's the thing. Some people will say, I don't like parts formers, and if you don't like parts formers, I don't know if the siege line is for you. I can tell you now that cog certainly won't be for you, neither will this Ultra Magnus. If you don't like parts forming, you bring back the legs. There's a couple of things to note here. We have little rectangular tabs way up here on the hips, and they do go locked in. So you're going to want to kind of have the leg out, bring it up, and then push it in. Actually, before we turn around, I guess we should bring this chest down. Oh my god. No. See, that friggin' threw me off. So we're going to finish the conversion for this guy, get him in truck mode, and then we can kind of lay him aside while we look at all of the other parts for his body and what can be done with those. In fact, there was a time when if something fell over like that, or if I couldn't remember how to transform something, then I wouldn't even edit it out. I left it all in there. Go back and take a look at Universe Galvatron and Perceptor, who I had analyzing a stack of Tautons, as I recall. Have I grown a lot since those early days? I don't know. I'm still like a big 4-year-old. What do you want from me? I hope that what I do does give you guys some information in your hunt for the toys that you want to add to your collection, or at least that you're considering adding to your collection. Hopefully, I've kind of become better at being a source of information, and in terms of my enjoyment of doing reviews, it's 10. I wouldn't do this if I didn't enjoy it. In terms of me hopefully helping you guys out with, pertinent information, hopefully that's a 10 too. I don't know, you guys would know that better than I would. In terms of my ability and quality, just free, I don't know. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a crazy old man that they gave a camera to. And hopefully you enjoy what is still to come. But now you've seen a little bit of the behind the scenes and the things that kind of go wrong. You start out with an idea of how you want your video to go. You have certain kind of benchmarks that have kind of become habit for you. You probably have an idea of what you want to say. And like I said, some people actually script it right out. And that's great. If you have the time to do that, that's wonderful. I like to be a little more natural. The best way for me to do that is to just kind of, speak from the heart, man. Speak from the heart. Or off the cuff, or whatever comes, off the top of my head, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, my overall score for this whole reviewing racket, it's about an 8. It's fun, it's interesting, and hopefully it's useful. I know sometimes it even helps me to kind of sort through my own thoughts as to whether or not I want to like and keep certain figures. Anyway, there's episode 500. I hope that it was something a little different, something a little bit entertaining. We still have season 2 of Universal Collision up and coming. I'm working on that now. We're into the, say, editing of it. In fact, episodes 1 and 2 are ready to go. I'm just waiting, until some more are done so that we can have like a weekly or bi-weekly schedule for those. So they're coming, hopefully sooner than later. We have some discussions coming. We have a bunch of reviews coming, some new, some old, or well, new-ish and older. We have some fan-requested things coming up, a few countdowns. There's a lot happening, man. There's a lot happening, and I'm glad that you're along for the ride. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're along for the ride. See what happened there? See? My words lost me. I am glad that you're along for the ride. I appreciate you giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how much it means to me, and I know how important it is to you. And of course I'm going to say, please once again hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very, very much, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.